Hey everyone, today we're looking at the funniest bugs from DBD history. I got my Discord to help me out with this one, as there's a lot I'd probably miss otherwise. Let's get into it. Hag Cannon is Space Billy's younger brother of a bug, and it did a similar thing of flinging you into the air. This one is also known as Space Hag. I like the name Hag Cannon though, as it seems a bit more fitting. This was achievable by triggering a Hag trap with the Scarred Hand add-on. This add-on gives Hag's traps the effect of being solid, and they are able to block survivors. However, this meant you could use the phantasms to not just block, but actually stand on. Once triggered, a survivor could drop down from a structure or something and onto the triggered Scarred Hand trap. From there, they would then need to wait for the trap to complete its reveal duration before disappearing. Once gone, it would instantaneously propel you into the stratosphere. From what I've seen of this bug, you would indefinitely stay up there too. Whether this was ever pulled off in a live game, I'm unsure, but it's pretty funny if it was. I'm not sure if this was purely a Dead Dog related bug either, because literally all clips I can find of it are on Dead Dog by the Gallows. I don't see why this wouldn't have worked on other maps though. Invisible Dredge was one that was fairly recent, and actually caused Dredge to become kill switched, making it briefly unplayable. This bug, as it sounds, made you invisible when playing Dredge. This happened during Nightfall and would occur when interacting with lockers. For whatever reason, there was the possibility for Dredge to become invisible when going in and out of them. It would be completely invisible during Nightfall and partially invisible afterwards, with you only being able to see the red stain on the ground. This is a funny glitch, I think. Definitely broke the game, but still funny to see, and I enjoy watching the clips of it and the different reactions people had. Space and Sky Billy is probably the one people remember the most fondly, as it's been an on and off occurrence across all of DBD's years. It gets patched, and then suddenly people find a way to fly again. This bug allowed you to, in many different forms, use Billy's chainsaw speed and typically either a strange map corner or edge, or a ramp part of the map of some kind, to fling yourself into the sky, this being known as Sky or Space Billy. I think it's more recently referred to as Sky Billy, as you don't get as high. I'm unsure about the naming behind it. Either way though, it tossed you into the air. The fake vault bug was around fairly recently, and it was a bug that allowed you to pretend to vault a window. This was done very simply by clicking your flashlight to the side just before you vaulted. This made your character do the forward vault animation before being directed off to the side where you could continue running. As you can imagine, this was quite strong at the time. Fake vaults are already a viable trick or strategy as Survivor, and this just made them even more directly viable by actually showing a fake vaulting animation. Nurse Grab Bug was a bug which made Nurse completely stuck in her grab animation. This one I remember pretty well, because I remember specifically feeling bad for Super Alf. He uploaded that video where he had to play Blight, which I thought was pretty funny. This bug occurred when you went to grab someone as Nurse. It was literally that simple, I think. You would do the grab, and then it would fail the animation, and you would be stuck in place. It wasn't one of those bugs where you were stuck, but you could move around the map still. It just straight made you completely frozen in time. Yeah, this one was rough for Nurse players. But there was a brief period of the game, actually not a brief period, I think it was almost a month, where Nurse was kill switched, and it was quite peaceful. There was no fear of Nurse suddenly popping up in the game. Chainsaw Myers is one we've touched on in a few videos now. This bug essentially allowed Myers to wield Billy's chainsaw. I'm still kind of unsure on how this occurred. I'll kind of repeat from various things I've heard, but I believe it was to do with how powers worked originally, where you were able to drop them almost like items. I think this is how Myers managed to wield Billy's chainsaw. I'm not entirely sure though, and I'm scared. Small Blight was a bug that lasted a long time, and I honestly didn't even realize it was a bug for a long time because of how long it lasted. Release Blight was really small. Compared to his current POV, when playing as Blight it would be much closer to the ground, and it would feel almost like the POV you get in racing games where it's like stuck to the floor. I don't remember the exact timing of this one, but I believe it took around 6 months for this to be patched. and his height to be corrected. I think in general this time between late 2020 and early 2021 was affected a lot by the change in working circumstances. Still, it created a funny low POV Blight, so it wasn't all bad bugs, and I think it's a bit harsh to complain about the game too much around this time. Nightmare being stunned by dream pallets was a thing. Nightmare's dream pallets are fake pallets you can spawn into the trial in open pallet slots. When a survivor throws them down, they are meant to explode and pass through you completely as Freddy. However, quite simply, this bug made them able to stun you. This was a heavy nerf, as you can imagine. Your power basically became the ability to spawn in more tools for the survivors to fight back with. Very cool. Night grab bug was a big issue with Night that allows you to grab from anywhere on the map at any time, basically as long as you could reach it with your Night trail. I believe the way this was done was by drawing the trail to the target location and pressing the attack as you exited the power. It would zoom you over to the position of the person and grab them off the generator, pallet, or whatever they were on. It could also be used to reach down survivors, so you could go and chase someone else and then suddenly draw a trail to someone you'd already downed, and you could pick them up on command. This was super broken. I personally just find it funny that this was somehow possible. It feels almost like a return of Silent Phase Spirit, with you able to phase along essentially and grab from afar. I believe this happened as your POV as Night goes into this small ghosty looking orb, so that's where the game thinks you are. So during the kill switch back, you are able to reach out and grab them, despite not actually being in the location of the orb. Lockers falling over is just something that seems to routinely happen, I believe across many years. I have no specific point for this one really, as I seem to always see these random pictures of lockers doing weird stuff, but mainly times they are just laying on the ground. Someone sent a screenshot of one whilst we were discussing bugs, and I just wanted to include it. So, there you go. People stuck in hills. Okay, so I found a clip of this one on Reddit, and I was really happy about it. Apparently this actually had a small resurgence on the Mother's Dwelling map much more recently. It seems to be the same spot to the ones I remember from a couple years back now. Basically, if you went to this point on the hill tile, you'd get stuck in the corner and you were unable to do anything. I found this funny when it happened to me, mainly because of how unexpected it was. It's also one I just generally fondly remember, where people would fall in and just be completely baffled as they were stuck in the side of a hill. It could happen to both sides too, I believe, and if you were stuck as a survivor, the killer was able to release you luckily. Merciless Storm had a bug fairly recently, which was pretty funny, although rough to find in a live match. I found this one funny again for similar reasons. It just caused so many funny reactions where people would hit the skill checks and the gen would just keep going back. I don't know, it got to me. It seems to keep getting issues too, this perk. It's shaping up to be the Telesto of DBD. If anybody understands that reference. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone who submitted ideas. I do hope you enjoyed. Thanks, and goodbye.